Hey everybody, Patty Ann here. This is a picture of my dog Daisy. Probably not one of her most photogenic moments, but one I found quickly that I can use to show you how to do this. So I've downloaded this into my computer. It was on my phone. I sent it to myself. And now I'm going to open a program called, let's see if I can get to it, called, Remove Background. So it's just remove.bg. So then right here when you come to remove BG, you say upload an image, then you find the image that you just downloaded on your computer. This is the one I had in the sample. Notice she was on the deck with lots of stuff behind her. After I did remove background, all I was left with was this. So I'm going to go ahead and use this one, and I'll say open. And it's working on it, as you can see. Okay, it's okay. And then you can simply download your image. So it's downloading right there, and then I'm going to open it up in Silhouette. So I'll open this up, and let's go to a new clear page. And I'm working again in my portrait machine, my new portrait. I do have a Cameo 3 and a 4, but I really like using the portrait, especially when I'm demonstrating for you guys, because it's such a handy size that fits so many things perfectly. Okay, I'll probably get a couple of thumbs down for mentioning this, though. I think that if you have a preteen or a teenager in your house who loves keeping a planner and having stickers, this would be a fabulous Christmas gift for them for two reasons. They could make their own stickers, just have a lot of fun making things, but in addition to that, they'll be gaining computer skills by using this software. Anyway, I think it would just be a great gift, and of course, if you want to buy the gift, I appreciate it if you use my link down below. Oh, and the other thing is, I was thinking about this. You know, I used to be a middle school teacher, right? I was thinking this would be a fabulous way for me to connect with that age group again and to teach them how to use their machines, and maybe have a couple classes specifically geared to the younger crowd so they can make things that they like, make stickers for planners, make temporary fake tattoos, just all kinds of stuff that we could do. But that's just something to keep in mind. So let's continue on. All right, the next thing I would do is I would go to File and Merge, because I want to merge it right into that same page. I'm going to go to my downloads, and this is the one I just made, so I'm going to merge that in. And I do want to show you something else of how you might be able to make this look a little bit better. I think Daisy's feet look a little bit weird here, and I'll show you how I can make them look a little better. But right now I'm also going to turn off the line color right here. Make it transparent, and that helps a little bit, but I still think I can refine this a bit. Later on at the end I'll show you. But here we have Miss Daisy, and then I'm going to go to File and Merge, and I'm going to merge in from the Fall Bundle, and this is from Creative Fabrica. I'll have the link down below for the bundle. You don't have to have this. Get anything you want off the internet. Do use any drawing you want. But this is how I'm showing you, and if you want the same one I'm using, I'll have the link down below for you. So I'm going to open this one up. There. It's going to come in huge. I mean, like really big. Look at the size. When I click on it, it's 34 inches wide. Heavens to Murgatroyd. We don't need anything nearly that wide. I'm going to make it 7 inches wide. And with this locked, I'm going to hit enter on my keyboard, and that's going to make it really small. Oops, it didn't take right yet because I was putzing. 7, enter. All right, so that made it really small, and I might be wondering where it is. Okay, when I hover over this button, it says center to page. The thing that I just worked on is still selected. So if I say center to page, it's centered it to the page perfectly like this. Now, what I want to do is I want to have Daisy here instead of the boots. I like boots quite a bit, but I just want to put Daisy in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use, I'm going to come over here to the trace panel. And I'm going to go ahead and click on this one that looks like a magnet. Okay, and I'm going to say magnet trace. Now the size of the magnet, look at it, it's really, really big. I want to make it very small so I can control it easily. See that little red dot following my cursor? I'm going to zoom in a bit. And I'm just going to start tracing with the magnet, starting here and just coming down. So what I'm doing is tracing around the outline of the boot. And the magnet is helping it to stay right on the edge of the boot where I want it to stay. And once I get down to the bottom down here, what I'm going to do, whoopsie, is go out and around. I might need to use my arrow key on my keyboard to be able to go down a bit. So I'm just clicking on the outside now of this. I'm going to come all the way back around and make these two join. And when they join and I double click, that totally got rid of the boot for me. Alright, so now's when I can just go ahead and bring Daisy down here. Now I want to right click on her and say bring her to the front because I don't want that jaggediness on the pumpkin to be showing. And so I want to stretch her to make her larger. So she kind of fits pretty good right there. And I really will have to have her over like this or like this. Nope, like this. So that she covers that part of the boot that I cut out. So let's scroll out for a second and see how that's looking. Okay, it's looking pretty good to me. So now the only other thing that I will do, and I accidentally got rid of the text, which I shouldn't have done before. So I'm just going to group this. And I'll go ahead and say File, Merge. And I'm going to merge the same one in again. Remember, this kind of gives us an idea of how to do this again. Comes in, when I click on it, really big. Remember, 34 inches. Make sure the lock is locked. I'll change this to maybe a 7 and hit Enter on my keyboard. And we can't see it. We don't know where in the world it went. But if we click on this, Center to Page, there it comes in just like that. So now all I want to do is release the compound path of this so that I can take this pumpkin thing out and I can grab this and group it and grab this and group it and then just bring these things over here like this. And that's all I need to do. And if I'd like to, I could bring Daisy's foot to the front if I wanted to, or send this to the back if I like her foot better over top. But since I don't like the way her feet turned out necessarily, I'm going to bring this thing to the front to cover her feet a little bit. So that's how easy it is to do this. So then all you need to do, I would group all this together. If I was using this as a print then cut on my portrait, I would just come up here to the page setup. I have the portrait, the cutting mask, the auto portrait, letter size. I'm going to show the print and the cut border, but that's not all for print then cut. I want to go ahead and put on this. Now, I want you to see something though. Let's pretend we're going to make it just like this. And we'll say that we are going to have it cut the edge. Well, it's still going to cut the edge of every one of these pieces. I don't want it to do this. I'm going to go back to design. I'm not ready yet. I'm going to go ahead and offset this. So I'll come over to the offset panel. It looks like a star with an offset on it. Click on offset. And I think I'll make my offset get quite a bit bigger. Let's just see what's going to happen. Bigger yet, maybe. All right, let's change it to a color so we can see what it's looking like. Okay. Yeah, that would probably work. I could probably even make it a little bit smaller. See if I just make it a 0.4. There we go, I think. Let's see. All right, I think that offset's going to work just fine. So what I would do now is I would change it to white. And now if I was taking this to my silhouette machine to be, my Cameo to be cut, I would make sure that this cut line around the edges is that medium gray that I like to do, right? Like that. And so, whoopsie daisy, I need to go ahead and grab all this stuff and group it. And now if we go to send it here, and we say cut edge, it's just going to cut around like this, and that'll make it really manageable for a print then cut if I'm doing it in cardstock, or if I want to do it on a shirt with sublimation, or I want to do it on one of those shirts that you print on the transfer paper or on the vinyl for a light color shirt. And the thing is, if I was doing those, I would mirror both of them. One last thing I might do, if I was doing this as a print then cut for cardstock, I might come right in here, and you see that right there. I might ungroup all of this and then double click off and click back on to get the nodes. And I might delete some of these nodes out, because you're going to see as I delete these nodes, whoops, I didn't mean to do that one. Out of here, click this one, and then this one, and then this one. As I click these nodes out of here, it's getting rid of that big cut that went in the side. And I can easily show you that, pretty sure, by changing the color, there we go, to that color. And now you can see where it would cut as a print then cut. But I want it to be white. I'd have to mess with these if I wasn't going to have it white, but I am going to have it be white, so let's change its color back to white. And again, if we go over here to send, and it's going to cut the outer edge, look, just like that. It's going to print and cut it. It's going to be super cute. One last thing again, though, is, whoopsie, I got to group it together, so they both move together. One last thing is, if I'm going to use this as for sublimation or for that iron-on HTV for white or light color shirts, I will want to mirror it. To mirror it, all I have to do is right-click and say flip horizontally, and then it's mirrored. Okay, I've decided to do sublimation with this one. So what I did was I went to print, and then I opened up my preferences, and I already have a preference made for sublimation, and that changes it so that I have plain paper and more settings. And if I click on more settings, you'll see what I've done. More, and I've made my quality on way high, as high as it could go. Let's see, there was one other setting that I had made. I'm trying to remember. Oh yes, it was this. You go to more options, and you go to custom, advanced. This is under the color correction. Because of the kind of ink I'm using, which is Cosmos ink, I check the ICM for the color correction. I'll just cancel this for now and just say OK. And then I'm going to go ahead and print. Okay, and while that's printing, let me just show you the package that I've used. And you can find this linked in my Amazon store down below if you want to try the same kind. This is the first kind that I've tried since I'm new at this, and it works really, really well. The other tip I can give you is this, because there's so much to remember, and I have a hard time remembering everything. I've made a clipboard, and on this clipboard, I'm putting the settings for these different shirts and things that I'm using. So I know the shirt that I'm going to be using now is a Vapor Ladies Solar shirt. So this tells me exactly how to stack my things on my heat press over there, and exactly what temperature and settings to have. So once I get over there, I'll show you this again. Okay, here's the page printed out, And as always, it looks light colored compared to what it's going to look like when it's ironed. It's ready for my portrait machine. I'll get out my mat now. Put it on my mat. And you remember, like I always say, the solid square goes out in the upper left-hand corner of your mat. Like that. So there's no wrinkles in here, and there is. Dadgummit. I don't know how I did that. Ugh. Come on. There we go. All right. That ink's a little bit damp. I shouldn't have touched it like that yet. That's another thing they suggest that you do, is dry it over there at your heat press before you start pressing it, so there's not extra ink. So I've kind of messed this up a little bit. Hoping it'll be okay still. All right, I'm going to go ahead and say send. And again, I want the outer edge like that. I'll put it in my cameo or my portrait. Okay. As always, I like to check to make sure it cut all the way through before I totally remove it, and it cut perfectly. So now I can remove it from here, and I'll take it over to my heat press. Okay, the first thing I'm supposed to do is to put my little piece under here. Don't press it, just let it dry a little bit. For about 10 seconds, it says. Hover this over it to let it dry. Then I'm going to place a piece of paper on here. I can pull this out a little bit. Place a piece of paper on here. The next thing I'll do is I'm going to place my garment on here. So, and again, I can pull this out further so I don't get burnt. I like a swing away. I know a lot of people don't, but I like a swing away a lot. So I don't need to use my pillows because this whole image, whoopsie, is going to fit and there won't be any seams on top of here. The next thing I need to do is just take this and press this for a few seconds to get all the moisture out of it and to get it nice and flat. Okay, the next thing I do is I just bring this out, put my image on top of here, like so. Might like it a little bit further up. Oh, almost forgot. I need a piece in between the front and the back, so in case there's bleed through, it doesn't make a mess. That's important. You're not using the mats, or even if you are using the mats, put a piece of paper, butcher paper or whatever, in between the two layers, so in case you have bleed through, it doesn't bleed through to the back. It only bleeds through to the paper you have underneath. So there's that. Looks pretty good. So now I'm going to take this, put it about right here. Try to make sure it's straight. Press this back in. And again, my heat press is set to, should be 380 degrees for 50 seconds. So I'm going to go ahead and do that in a medium pressure. And once this is done, I will just pull the paper off and you'll see the beauty underneath. The only thing I may have wanted to do is to make sure I had a bigger piece of paper. Did I cover it? Yes. A bigger piece of butcher paper on top of my image so that my shirt was more protected. Only like 10 more seconds. Swing this away, pull this out, and pull this off. And there it is. It turned out beautifully. Look at that. Isn't that cool? I love it. So let's go back to my computer one last time, and I'm going to show you how I could maybe fix her foot a little bit if I wanted to. Okay, I'm in Remove Background again, and I'm going to upload the image that I uploaded before, the same one. Open. And let's see, there it's going. Okay, and it already did the trace. It already removed it, I guess. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say Edit. And now what I want to do is I want to restore some of it. But this is the brush size, and this is what I missed before. First, I'm going to scroll way in so I can see her feet. And then I'm going to reduce the brush size really small. Whoops, I don't want to erase, so undo that. I want to restore. So let's see what's going to happen if I just go. Maybe it won't help on this one because it's so light. So let me hit Control Z. Does that work here? No, undo. Undo, undo. All right. I think that's the smallest I can get it. So unfortunately, that's probably the best that her feet can be. I thought I would be able to fix them a little bit by using these tools, but notice now sometime if you do want to make something a little bit better, you can use these tools, and I'm sure that sometimes it would help, but in this case it did not. Just don't forget the tools are there just in case. Okay, so then I would just download it again if I was able to fix anything at all and just use it as I did. So let's go back to Silhouette, and I want to thank you all for joining me today. I hope you liked this tutorial. As I showed on our Facebook groups, I was also working on some other things. Let's see, that's the same. Oh, I was taking the same thing and putting it into another image that came in that same bundle that you can get for free if you belong to the subscription thing. It's not really free, but you know, get a pile of stuff. Or you can pay for this individually. And you can see what I did. I cut this apart and I put Daisy. There was a mug here and I put her in the mug. I could have made it another shape, but I just put it in the mug. If you get this and don't know how to fix it so that you can change an image here, let me know and I'd be glad to make a tutorial for you on that. Let's see, I think I had something else. No, here, yeah. I took the same thing, and I'm going to be getting mugs tomorrow that I can sublimate on. So I was just playing around to see how it would look sublimated on a mug. And that's nothing. So that's it. Again, thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you again next time. Oh, check out my links down below. I appreciate it when you use them. Thank you. Bye-bye.